English language as a subject, I was exposed to it quite early on. It's probably the only language I speak very fluently. I speak English even at home with my parents sometimes, and everywhere else it's always been English. And English is like the official language in Nigeria, so you almost need to understand English to be able to get by living in Nigeria.
Right.
So my learning experience in English was positive, I think, the most part. It was almost always positive. I always had like great opportunities to, because you're speaking English all the time, so there's always opportunity to learn and to practice and to learn from other people that speak better, that understand better, and there are books everywhere, so you'd always have something to read.
Right.
So I've had like a positive experience with English. So the part that was not positive, or maybe the part I would say I struggled with the most, was the English literature.
Oh.
I enjoyed reading,
Right.
but when it comes to the poetry and kind of understanding English from I don't want to say artistic point of view, but maybe I'd say that was a bit challenging for me. I'll just read to understand the material, but not really to write an amazing story. Topic-wise, English, I enjoyed English grammar. From an early age, I enjoyed spelling, so I really, when it was time for spelling, I got really excited. So it was an opportunity to learn new words as well, because you get words that are really difficult to spell, and then you try to find out what it actually means. And also through reading, I got to learn a lot more about English and writing. So the reading, writing, grammar, most part of the grammar. I think in the early stage of English, I didn't really have to do a lot of prose or poetry. By the time it got to the parts I wouldn't really enjoy, it was in senior secondary school, where you had you could choose the options you wanted.
Right.
So you could specialize in just English language or go into English literature. So English literature was not like the subject I was going to take. I enjoyed borrowing the books and reading the books with them, but when it came to going into the detail of maybe poetry and prose, I really didn't want to get into that. It adds innumerable benefits. There are many ways I've had to apply it. It's almost inevitable. You can't really avoid it, especially studying in a country that English is the first language. You have to just perform. You have to show that you understand, and you have to also be able to articulate and express yourself. So English is like a day-to-day, right from day one, it's always been a day-to-day occurrence. So I think even with studying other languages, having a really good understanding of English and the language structure could help you learn a different language. I found them useful or helpful. They were accessible for the most part. When I was in high school, you had like a book list that you had to buy from. So almost everyone had a required text that you had to buy. So the books were always there. And it wasn't just restricted to the books that you had to read for school. There are books, the novels that if you didn't have novels, you could get from your friends. There were libraries to use as well.
Right.
So we had a school library that maybe sometimes was underutilized, but close to exam time, you see like a lot more people using the library. But I think we could have done with a lot more resources in the library for learning and understanding English. So finding the right resources was beneficial to understanding English language and learning the grammar, language structure and everything. So for English language, majority of the learning was from school. I had really good teachers. My primary school teachers we had lots of teachers from Ghana, so there were lots of Ghanaian teachers in primary school.
Right.
And they had a different way of expressing themselves in English and also portraying the message. They were seen to be very rigorous in teaching English language, so that's that was a definite plus.
Right.
But getting into secondary school, I had lots of great teachers too. They were seen as the tougher teachers for most of the subjects. The English teachers were seen as the ones that were really tough. But English is a very important language, and it's a subject that you have to pass to be able to get into university. So I understand why they came across as being tough sometimes, because I wanted to make sure we understood what they were teaching.
Right.
And they also provided some opportunities for those that were not catching up to meet with them afterwards. They'd organize like some sessions after school for people to just come for free.
Right.
But that was not there all the time. It was only based on need. I think their structure was different. I'm not really sure why my school had a preference for them, but I think we all appreciated the pronunciations and the accent. Most important factor that aided my understanding of the English language was just reading, a lot of reading. So I was reading lots of novels, also reading school material. I would advise them to read a lot. If you don't like reading, try. Yeah, but reading really helps a lot, and with the increase in technology and internet, social media, people read a lot less. So most of the things we're reading is just what we find on the internet. And it's not always the best source of information. So it's important to read the right kind of material, find the right kind of resources. And reading sometimes takes discipline. So if you pick a book, you have to just give yourself a goal. This is what I want to get out of this book, and this is the amount of time I'm going to give myself to read through it. So it's discipline, and make sure you're reading the right kind of material. Thank you.